I want to share a quick message from our sponsor, which is the 21-Day Challenge by Burn Up Coaching. And if you're an entrepreneur, high achiever, and you feel lost, stuck, unclear, you're not as motivated as you like to be, you know there's room for more fire, more action, and more clarity on your biggest dreams and goals, message me. We'll find out what your 21-day challenge goal is, break your big dreams down into bite-sized steps, and hold you accountable to be able to achieve those. Message me on Facebook or chris@beyourgps.com. I look forward to hearing about you and your 21-day challenge. Next up is going to be the iTunes Review of the Week, and this week's iTunes Review of the Week is by Miss Morgana Ray. And Morgana says, OMG, Chris has the greatest energy in the world. I really appreciate how much love and care he brings to his interviews. Thanks so much, Morgana. I appreciate you. And if you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes and leave us a review there. Let us know what you love and what you want to hear more of in the show. And if there's anything that we can improve, let us know that too. We love that feedback. That's all about that coaching, always willing to receive that feedback to take it to the next level. So thanks so much in advance for doing that. We are going to introduce Jeannie Baldomero in just a second here. Before we get into that, though, make sure you have a pen and paper handy, ready to take notes, ready to dive in to the gold, to the wisdom that this woman is going to bring to your doorstep right now to help you change and transform your life, to help you really step into the best 2019 ever. Because at the time of this recording, it is January 2nd. We are just diving into the new year, and I hope you are going strong on your New Year's goals. So Jeannie Baldomero is a wife and a mom of 3. She's committed to being present for her family as she builds her own health and wellness business from home. She's a certified health coach and business coach who is committed in helping people create freedom in their body, mind, and finances. And we're blessed to have her here with us today. Jeannie, are you ready to rock the house?
I am. Thanks for having me on here.
Yes, you're now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom with our audience so that we can grow, so that we can make this our best year ever with you, because you're doing all sorts of amazing things, empowering people, and just really creating your reality. So thank you for being here, Jeannie.
Of course, it's an honor to be here and to be able to share what I've gone through and be able to hopefully impact somebody else who's watching and change their life.
Definitely, Jeannie. So let's dive right into the theme of the day, which is how to own yourself. So how do you own yourself, Jeannie?
That's a big question. How do you own yourself? I think it starts with first being real with your current reality.
Yeah.
And what that means is just, for me, looking where I'm at and being real with that. And sometimes we can live our life and kind of be immune to what's impacting us. And sometimes it takes an outside set of eyes that maybe are a few steps ahead of you to see what really is unfolding and help you recognize that. And part of that is once you recognize that, knowing where you want to go from there and owning that, okay, this is where I'm at. What do I need to do from here?
Wow, that's so powerful. And I heard immune to what's going on. I also hear numb, if you're numb to the impact of your actions, or numb to you get into this kind of complacent space where, either if you're not doing that good, you're like, I'm just used to not doing that good and kind of just scraping by. Or if you are doing good, you're like, I'm doing pretty good. I don't need to really stretch that much or take it to the next level. And what I hear you saying, Jeannie, is really understanding what your current reality is, and then also surrounding yourself with mentors and people who you look up to and coaches who can have you dream of something even bigger and what that would make available for your life, and then take action on that, really go for that.
Yep, it's true. And it is a choice, because when that reality happens, it's a choice to move forward. Your mentors can't do it for you. They can't create that environment for you. It's a choice to accept it and a choice to move forward. I can tell you that it's a very uncomfortable place to be.
Yeah.
And to say that it gets better, I think would probably be, unrealistic at times, but it's rewarding. Yes.
Yeah, and it's we will always have a challenge that's worthy for the level that we're at. For every time we grow, we're going to experience new challenges, new obstacles that are a challenge, that are problems, that are, like we have to be even more resourceful. We have to grow to overcome them, to get past them. So Jeannie, I know you're helping people really grow and overcome their challenges. Tell us more specifically about the types of clients that you work with and the work that you're doing today.
Sure. Well, just a little background. I've always loved health and fitness. Always was in tune with, wanting to be healthy. Motherhood hit me. And there was a season in my life where I didn't feel my healthiest. I wasn't probably the best mom that I wanted to be. I felt very unhealthy. And then I decided to make a change and get myself fit. I did a fitness competition as a, milestone thing or a bucket list thing before I turned 40.
Wow.
Was really pursuing health in that way. I felt that passion to want to help people. So I love fitness and I love helping people. And I wanted to combine that together. And so becoming a health coach was, I think, a perfect fit for me to help clients discover, who the best version of them are. And walking them alongside, identifying triggers, identifying and helping them create things that they desire themselves, that they themselves probably couldn't have otherwise thought would be possible.
Wow, that's incredible. So I hear that you're really, you're taking these bold actions to do your own fitness competition, really get yourself into the best shape and health of your life, because you were recognizing that you weren't there and you weren't satisfied with kind of how things were going. And now you're all about helping other people do similar transformations and get what they want in life. So Jeannie, I'm sure things weren't always this good with your productivity, your empowerment, your coaching, your speaking and leading. So take us back on the journey and tell us about some of those defining moments that had you have to grow and have to become your greatest possible self to really get to where we are today.
Sure. So on this journey of health coaching, the funny thing is that when you're helping other people, you can't help but turn around and look at yourself.
Totally.
And see, what do I see in myself that can constantly improve and grow? And where are the areas that I struggle and are challenged by?
Yeah.
And it really goes back to, growing up, my parents did the best they can do to love me, to serve me. They worked very, very hard. There were those teenage rebellion years where I needed to get everybody else's approval.
Yep.
And for me to feel successful. And doing the fitness competition was for me. But at the same time, I got caught up with body image, right? And having to understand, why is body image such a struggle for me? It's because I wanted to satisfy everybody else, get that same reaction I got when I was competing, because that drove me. And so on this journey, I realized that I am a people pleaser, right? And to be able to tear down those walls and understand that if I continue to live my life and struggle in a way to find satisfaction outside of myself, then it will never, ever be enough. Because expectations will always be never satisfied if it's from somebody else. And so I'm learning to look inward and that I have a specific calling for myself. And it is that calling that I respond to, regardless of how people react to that. And so that has been my journey, helping other people discover that too.
That's so powerful. I love how you say that, because I'm a quote unquote recovering people pleaser as well. Like I'm curious what you had to do to really break free from that old pattern and old way of being. Like, what strategies or like tactical kind of actions can people do to really break free from that?
Sure. First, it takes structure. Well, actually, it takes recognizing the fact that you are a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Right? It's recognizing that, because again, like we were talking about, you can be immune to that if you never recognize that, and there's not going to be a change, right? So, one, recognizing that and being okay that that's the struggle. Two, living in structure. So, how can I structure my day so that when something like that, I'm doing this because I'm satisfying this person, instead of structuring your day towards what you've been called to, right? So having a structure. 3, definitely accountability.
Yep.
Right? Having an accountability partner that knows your goals, your dreams, and your tendencies to fall back in old habits that lead to people pleasing.
Yep.
That person is able to speak into your life and you're able to receive that. So having an accountability partner. And 4, being in a community of like-minded people. Because they too, I'm sure, 100% guarantee, just like you and I, probably have felt the same thing and have gone through the same struggles and are able to encourage each other because they might be a little step ahead, right?
Right. Right. Well, that's powerful. That's great tips. So in developing your capacity to help people and help them, really find themselves, what was like some of the biggest things you saw other people getting stuck with to like actually own themselves and be their best selves?
So the program that I coach to really has to do with a lot of physical, getting healthy physically, right? And we provide a structure, and because of the structure, sometimes triggers come out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's outside of the structure, and these triggers start to come out. These old habits that don't serve you well come out. And it's being able to help them recognize that and questioning why. Why? And did that serve you well? Is it serving what you are trying to create for yourself? Yes? Then keep on doing it. No? Then what can we do to not focus on that and create something towards what you want for yourself ultimately?
Yeah. Well, so it's the triggers, and when someone sets out on a new path, let's say being healthy or, getting into the best shape of their life or, like being more confident, the old patterns and programs are going to come up to try to sabotage themselves from becoming something more, something greater, like the best version of themselves.
Yes, true. And it's kind of almost like recognizing that, okay, what I'm doing now is not working for me. It's not creating what I'm trying to work towards. I need help, right? It's recognizing I need help. And being able to first identify why. What is it that you want to create? Why, for example, if it's weight loss, why do you want to lose weight? What is that going to bring you? It has to go beyond weight loss, just the surface. It has to dig deeper. This is where you can ask the questions. It's the 5 levels of why. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, because I want to fit into my clothes. Well, why do you want to fit into your clothes? Because I want to feel better about myself. Well, why do you want to feel better about yourself? Because I want to wake up every day knowing that I love myself. Aha! That is why you want to lose weight, right?
Yeah.
So when we can put that in the forefront and place a structure to show people how to get from point A to point B, and along the way, remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress, then we're able to, like my job is to able to recognize these choices, right, that they make and address why do they have a tendency to go to the old if it's not serving you well to loving yourself, which is future self, right? One thing that I teach, we encourage our clients to do is lead from the future and act in the now. Can you paint a picture of who you are and who you want to be even 2 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Now go act like it. Start doing the actions that act like it. Decide to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you said design the future version of yourself and act now as that future version. Can you give us a little bit more practical of like what that looks like or what someone might say about themselves or create about themselves as that future better version?
Sure. So, this past weekend, I actually got with a bunch of girlfriends and we did a vision board. Basically, a vision board is all these sayings, what we dream, the dreams that we have for ourselves, and putting it right there so it's crystal clear. This is what I want for myself. An example is, for me personally, I want to take my children to Japan, right? And how do I get there? How do I get there? Well, I have to move backwards, and make up a plan. So, for example, somebody going through their health journey, they picture themselves going to Europe, walking everywhere with their children, because right now, they know they cannot do that without losing their breath, right? And that for them to see themselves in Europe, enjoying life, running with their children, having the best time of their life, that's what they imagine in their head, right? And what kind of drives them to move forward is because that's what they want, and that's not what they have right now. And so for us to help them move from step to step to step is, one, first decide, two, make the choice that I need to come up with a plan. What is that plan? For example, I provide a simple structured meal plan, right, to help them with nutrition, because we can identify it's weight loss that they need. Because with weight loss, they will feel better, right? It's just, that's how our body responds. That's being healthy. And so, sorry, there goes my phone. And so we take them through a process of steps. Let's start from the beginning and simple. Set up the structure. Set up a plan of eating, right? And then from there, these habits or triggers start to come up, right? And then they can go and find education, or go through me, and be able to create some habits that work best for them. So that it's, one, decide, two, get help, three, find the structure and make a plan, four, implement that plan, and during that plan, recognizing the needs you need for yourself, which is, one, I recognize a trigger, and here's a healthy habit, I can create that, right? And then setting some goals, because although we are habits of creatures and we need to repeat over and over and over, sometimes we forget what our vision is, right?
Totally.
That's why we have that vision board. It's a reminder of what our creation, what we want to create. But in the middle, we also have to make some milestones, because we need to stop and celebrate ourselves, right? Because if we don't do that, what happens is that we either feel helpless and move backwards, right? And if we do celebrate, we are motivated to move forward. And that our decision for that change is, what's the word? Poured into, right? We're constantly poured into.
Yeah, so I love the decision. This is awesome. I want to dive into the decision even more, and like I want you to think about think about for a couple seconds, like what is someone who was like struggling to make a decision, and then like how they actually did that. And before you share about that, we're at the 15-minute mark in our interview. So everyone who's tuned in live on Facebook, you get to participate in this. This is the first GPS game of the hour with Jeannie. So what you get to do is tag 3 people and share this video feed to your profile, and you will get entered into a drawing to win a free self-help book today. Okay, so make sure you do that. Go ahead and tag 3 people and share it to your profile, and you'll get entered into that drawing. And go ahead and go click that link so you can register for the contest as well. So Jeannie, tell us about someone who is having a challenge deciding, and like how you empowered them to really make that decision to change their life.
Sure. So I think it really has to come down to building a relationship with someone, right? And recognizing that you can trust me to tell me what really is happening. So it really is coming down to the core of what is it really that you want. When I do free health assessments with people who are interested in the service that I provide, sometimes it does go a little bit surfacey. It's, so how can I help you? What do you want to accomplish? I just want to lose weight, right? Or there's this wall, right, that happens. Because sometimes there's shame, guilt, blame that happens that brings us to an unhealthy space. And so it does take questions about that person to unlock, some of the discoveries that they probably themselves have been shoving
Yeah.
for years and months and still don't understand why they find themselves back to the same pattern, right? And so it does take time to ask the right questions. What is it that you want to accomplish for yourself, right? So ask yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish for yourself? What is it that you want to create? Has there been a time in your life where you felt that? Right? And what would it mean for you to accomplish that goal? Right? And as people struggle with that decision, that is their why. Right? So along a journey, I can check in with a client and they're struggling. They're struggling with their choices to stick to the structure. So this is where we can come to a pause and go back to their why. Is it that do you still want to run freely with your kids in Europe and enjoy your vacation, like you said you did in the beginning? Yes. Okay, let's refocus. Let's refocus and decide. Because sometimes the immediate gratification can outweigh the long-term goal. And so sometimes it does take a health coach to kind of guide them through that. A lot of times when it comes to decisions that we don't want to make because it's so uncomfortable, we can stuff it or avoid it, right? And so a healthy way to make a proper decision is really to bring it to the surface without shame, guilt, or blame. Right. It's really just, hey, this is the reality, and how can we move forward from here so we're not stuck?
Right. How does someone who's been pushing some stuff down for a long time really look at it with an objective, non-judgmental, non-shame, non-guilt perspective? Like, how can we do that?
Sure, it does take another person, the accountability partner, somebody that you trust, right? That can maybe have been a few steps ahead of you, that can empathize, that can relate. And it's also timing and relationship. Yeah. Right? I think I'm very apt to spilling my guts out to my mom than I am to somebody I just met, right? And so it does take some time in relationship building and a lot of trust to be able to knock down those walls. But it also makes it's also a decision on that person's part that if they truly want to make a change, that these questions really will bring them some breakthrough, and if they're ready to hear it.
What was one of your toughest questions for you to ask yourself and answer for yourself along your journey, Jeannie? Like, what did you find was a difficult question for you to take on, was scary, or just tell us about one of those?
Oh, gosh. So, my mentor actually asked me this question. She said, it sounds like you're stuck. And what is it that you're scared of? And it took me aback because I didn't think I was scared of anything. Right? Yep. Until I realized that I'm scared to move forward. I'm scared to get out of the comfort of the relationships I have, right? And sometimes relationships that once served you very well, and as you're growing, and there's nothing bad about the people. Right. It's just being able to align with like-minded people. And so when that happens, for example, for myself, having to grow my business requires moving with people that want to grow their business, and maybe my closest friends don't desire that for themselves. And having to come to that realization that I need to grow and not everyone's going to come with me. That has been the biggest challenge. And to make that decision really took some time to pause, right? Self-reflect. And if you're a believer, I pray and confirm what is my calling? And my calling is, and I've learned this from women that I want to be like. You gravitate towards women that you want to be like, that are ahead of you, and that Your assignment will change, but your calling will never.
Hmm.
And as long as you're always following your calling, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so that got me out of comfort and fear, because that also meant severing some relationships or changing the way we relate to each other. Yeah.
Wow, that's so powerful, and I think it's one of the most challenging things for like recovering people pleasers is like we love people. We love people and we don't want to hurt them. And for us to grow and become our best self, it's like we're the average, quote unquote, of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most, you know? And we want to take people with us. We want to take our best friends, childhood friends, our family, all these people with us. And not everyone wants to go. Not everyone's soul is meant to go on that journey of growth with us, so to speak, you know? And it can be so frustrating to want people to come with us and them not want it, you know? And it's like, okay, well, you know, we get to go within and say, what is it that I really want? I want to be more. I want to grow into my best self. I want to grow this business. I want to impact lives. So what are some actions that I need to take? Well, it's probably not spend as much time with these loved ones because they're not helping me fulfill my goals. They're not positive, inspiring influences on me. They're not, you know, really empowering me and believing in me and telling me to go out there and take massive action. And that's like one of the most challenging things that I've found as well.
Yeah, and it's human in us because we're built for relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And we get comfortable in certain relationships. You know, it's good relationships, but sometimes we settle for good and sacrifice great.
Yep.
You know? So.
Yeah. Don't settle for good. Don't settle for good. How do you know when you're settling for good, or how do you know when one of your clients is settling for good and not willing to sacrifice that to get to the great?
Sure. So when we talk about that big why, we're always improving our health, or we're improving ourselves personally. Sometimes I see my clients settle for, I'm just 2 pounds or 5 pounds away. I'm good.
Right.
And so they stop short of what they really wanted to accomplish for themselves.
Wow.
And miss out on what could have been what they pictured in their head. You know, for me personally, I speak to myself a lot because deciding is constantly a step, and it's once you decide, there's always another decision to make right after.
Yep.
You never arrive, and the minute you think you're arrived is the minute we're not growing, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, making this decision to constantly trust the process, trust my calling, is very, very uncomfortable. But I'm so grateful that I have a community of people that really do encourage and lift. So it's not a journey of being alone, because it can be a journey of being alone, especially like what you were saying, that sometimes we need to kind of rip ourselves away from relationships that not necessarily aren't bad, but they're not helping you grow, right?
Right.
And so having that community of people to help us accomplish that is vital as well too.
Yeah, 100%, Jeannie. And this is gold. I want to dive into more about, you know, the health mindset shifts that we can do and different health actions that you'd recommend. Before that, though, we're at about the 30-minute mark. So everyone who's tuned in on the Facebook Live, we're doing our second GPS game of the day. And all you have to do is be the first person to comment after this, and you'll get entered into the drawing to win a book, a free self-help book. So first person to comment and enter into the contest wins that book or gets into the drawing. So, Jeannie, let's talk about health tips, health mindset shifts. Like, what can we really start doing to take that to the next level?
Sure, I love this topic because I live it out loud every day.
Yes.
So obviously being the beginning of the year, a lot of people are making resolutions or re-resoluting to get themselves healthy in every aspect.
Right.
There's 3 aspects in our life that affect our health, which is physical, right? Mental, emotional, and financial. These 3 areas affect our life, affect our health, and they're intertwined. So if one's affected, it definitely is like a domino effect into the other 2 areas of our life. body, mind, and finances.
Okay.
And so most times people will recognize that their physical health is probably the first thing that they want to work on. That is why you'll see a lot of people at the gym this time of the year.
Yep.
And there's a lot of value to wanting to work on your physical health. One, because you can physically see yourself. You look at yourself every day in the mirror. And it's not about body image, it's about how you feel. And if you can look at yourself confidently in the mirror every single day, that does something to you internally, right? It builds confidence, it makes you feel better, you have extra pep in your step. So that is why physical health is pretty important on our journey as well. When you're starting your physical journey, there are some components that you need to ask yourself. What have I tried in the past that has worked? Right? And then question, what is it that has not been sustainable for me? So I've been to the gym, questioning yourself. Okay, I go to the gym 5 times a week and it's worked, but why in December have I not stepped in all month?
Wow.
That's the thing, right? So it's about creating consistency and realistic consistency. So making a plan, looking at your nutrition. What kind of plan works for me for the lifestyle I have? Right? The number one enemy of somebody being on a great regimented plan is time. Like, I can know what to eat and how many times a day I need to eat, but to actually apply that plan requires time. And how can I adjust that, right? So it's coming up with a realistic plan to your goal. So that would be one. And that would be looking at your nutrition. What types of things are you eating? Are they high protein, low glycemic meals? Are we eating 6 times a day every 2.5 hours? Right? Because our body functions on that. It wants to burn all that fuel up. And how is this food making you feel? Right? We want to, it's kind of like what you put in is what you're going to get out.
Totally.
You put in junk, junk's going to come right back out.
Yeah.
But if you put in quality, high nutrient dense foods in your body, you'll actually be the best person that you can receiving it out, right? And then workouts. Be realistic with your workouts, right? I admit, I am one of them. I was that person that went to the gym, worked out 2 hours for 7 days a week. Thinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And after some time, it was not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable. So come up with something that's realistic from the get-go. Whether it's finding an activity that you enjoy most. Not everybody goes to the gym to lift weights. And not everybody does fitness classes. It could be hiking. It could be yoga. Something you enjoy, and grab a partner to do that with. Because you're most likely to show up when somebody else is counting on you to show up for them. Right?
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying, is the accountability person. Have somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, or maybe a few steps ahead of what you want to accomplish, and connect with them. Have them be your guide. Have them be your accountability partner to empower you to live a healty life, right?
Yeah.
And then get yourself into a community of like-minded people. Like we were saying, you are who you are with the 5 people that you hang out with the most.
Yep.
And if you're hanging out with people that don't have health goals like you, the likelihood of you being successful in your own health journey will be very slim.
Yep.
Or very hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like streaming the opposite way. Downstream, right?
Yeah, going up the stream, swimming against the current. Yeah,
it's the current.
Yeah, it's true. And what would you say are some big myths around health and fitness? Like what are some myths that people like believe that they have to do that really just aren't true to be able to be happy and fulfilled in their health and fitness?
Sure. Although healthy, and I'm talking to myself because these were some aha moments I had myself going through my own personal journey, is that believe it or not, exercise is not a source of weight loss.
Wow.
Yeah. Exercise is a very good habit of healthy motion that we enjoy to maintain our weight, but it is not a source of weight loss.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know those gym enthusiasts, because I am one too, are going to be like, no, that's not true, but it is true. It's true. It's nutrition and habits. I think sometimes people think that diets are the answer.
Yeah.
That there's a magic pill, but there isn't, because you can lose all the weight you want because diets will do that. But if nothing changes up here, creating these habits and deciding to make these changes for the long haul, it'll come right back.
Yeah.
So that is a myth too.
Wow. So it's like a lifestyle of nutrition and habits and thinking, a mindset that really creates the transformation. Like you can go in and work your butt off in the gym, but if you don't change your nutrition, or if you don't change your thinking around the why around the exercise and the nutrition, then like it's all going to come back anyways.
True. And I can attest to that in my own personal life. When I did that fitness competition, I was the fittest I've ever been in my whole entire life. Wow. Right? 3 months later, I gained 15 pounds.
Wow.
You would have never thought I competed in a competition. And then I go back to that crazy yo-yo dieting cycle and just go back to what worked, and then go and binge eat, and go back to what worked, and go and binge eat, because I never changed this, which was the most important thing. I needed to change the habit in order for it to sustain.
Yeah. What would you say were some of your biggest sources of like personal development and education for yourself to become the powerhouse coach and leader that you are today? Like what was most influential for you?
Oh, goodness. So I'm an avid reader. I believe in educating your mind and gaining wisdom from people who are experts in the field, right? You want to be like the people that you want to be like, right? So I am a whole believer in reading, educating yourself with people who you admire and are motivated by. One of the most pivotal books I read last year, oh my gosh, it's called Chase the Lion by Matt. Oh my gosh. Somebody type it in there.
It's by Matt.
And he's a pastor on the East Coast. Mark Batterson. Thank you. Mark Batterson. Okay. Chase the Lion. I read it at the beginning of the year. Pivotal book for people who have dreams and desires and callings and are being called out to, but they're just too scared to do it. That's an amazing book and has really transformed the way I think. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think that those books that educate you on an area where it's like your biggest potential for growth. I know a lot of people talk about strengths and weaknesses, and hey, if you focus on your weaknesses, then you'll become well-rounded. That's great and all, and like you really want to focus on your strengths and your genius and stay in there. At least that's my own personal experience. Stay in your strengths, and if there's a skill or an ability that you really need to learn to get to that next level to be able to deliver your genius, then like go learn. Whether it's through a coach or a mentor or reading a book, taking a course, like whatever that is, like go learn those skills. And that's something I looked at in 2019. What were the skills that I really needed to learn? And for me, like I'm really great at interviewing, and I know interviewing is also something I want to become masterful at. I want to grow in my ability to interview. I want to grow in my skill of drawing the best information out of guests like you, Jeannie. And also I knew that, okay, well, interviewing is great, and I also get to grow my coaching business. So sales is a big aspect of that, to grow that coaching business. So I get to also develop the skill of sales. And it's important to, like you said, have a structure of how am I going to do that? When do I spend time
time to develop my interviewing skills? When do I spend time to develop my sales skills, my leadership, my delegation, different things like that? So it's like important to know where you're investing your time. What are the sources of education that you're investing in to be able to strengthen yourself, to be able to sharpen the sword, so to speak, of those most important skills that create the results in your reality.
Yep. I totally agree. I totally agree in that. And that every time you are reading a book, you take away something where you can relate to what you've read in there that impacts you and experience that you've had or in the situation you are at that moment, and be able to apply it and also share it. I'm a believer that if you receive a gift that has impacted you and your life so much that it's not for you to keep, it's for you to back.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, those defining moments where we hit rock bottom, it's like, yeah, we get to learn from it, and we get to say, hey, that's part of my story. And why do we have the story in the first place? Well, it's to be a contribution and to make a difference to the people around us, because other people are suffering with those same challenges. And if we can, reach into their lives and help them in a time of need, or to prevent them going through those same challenges that we went through, and that hardship and that heartbreak and stuff, then that's like really why we are here. That's why we go through those experiences and have our own message and our own story.
Yeah, and that's the uncomfortableness that we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people want to share their junk first, and two, not a lot of people want to share their transformation because they think it's all about them. In reality, it's not. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think, are they're afraid that they're not ready, or that their story doesn't matter. Like, I've only lost 20 pounds. Like, I'm not that inspiring. That other people have lost more. Other people have lost 100, 150. It's like, no, there's someone in your situation who is feeling such anguish and, suffering because she feels, or he feels like she's stuck, or he's stuck with an extra 20 pounds and he can't get rid of it. And he's so depressed, or she's so hurt and feels so alone, that if you were there to share your story about how you did that, then they would be freed up. They would say, wow, there really is someone like me. There really is hope. I really can do something about this and be happy.
Yep, and it's true. And it goes both ways. As you're seeing another person impact and transform their life, you see purpose. There's purpose. It's not about you. And it's not going to be about you as long as you're impacting somebody else's life and feel fulfilled that way. That is your purpose.
Yeah. Wow. So when you have clients who are making it all about themselves, and you've told them, hey, it's not about you, it's about other people, what do you see become possible for them when they stop making it about themselves and they start making it about others?
Oh, I love this question. And it's funny because sometimes they need the blinders off, right? Because they become immune to just self.
Yeah.
That they see that when something is working, they start to see their camp sizes go down, that they're feeling better, that relationships are starting to improve because they feel better, that they're able to spend more time with their loved ones. They're able to start creating the things they envision for themselves. Sometimes they get very self-absorbed and not realize that other people around them are noticing. You look amazing. And when they share that with me, of course, by far, I celebrate them because it does start with you. If you don't work on you, you're not going to be able to impact somebody else. So I celebrate them, but the little tweak is, well, what about them?
Yeah.
Have you thought of that person? And so it plants a seed in that person to think, maybe I should think about paying it forward and maybe giving them some ideas of what has impacted me and has helped me, because they have that gift again. It's like, can you pass the gift on? I pass this gift to you. Can you pass that gift to them? Right? Wow. And that's just that concept of paying it forward. Yeah. Right? How much can we pay it forward before it stops?
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I think it'll keep going. The ripple effect keeps going. It's one ripple ignites another, and then people get into the habit of being a contribution and sharing their message. And I think that's the ultimate world that we are striving for, is a world where everyone is self-expressed and sharing their mission and their message, and they know that their voice and their message makes a difference and it matters. And I think that's something that's super important. And, Jeannie, I want to ask you in another minute about like what you think makes you unique or special, and why you think your clients come to you versus other people. Before we get to that, though, we're going to dive into the third GPS game of this hour. And if you're in the audience right now, I want you to share your biggest takeaway that you've gotten from this interview with Jeannie. And when you share that, you'll get entered into a drawing to win a free self-help book for the day. Make sure you register at the contest link as well. And we look forward to seeing you win that. So, Jeannie, let's talk about what you think makes you different or sets you apart from other health coaches out there.
Sure. Well, one thing is that I value other health coaches because we are linking arms towards the same mission of just getting people healthy. Yeah. So I never see myself in competition with other health coaches, but me individually, I have a personal mission, that calling, to help others, including moms who are in my situation, right? Kind of confused, a little off track, doubting themselves, deciding which way to go, figuring out if they're even enough. A lot of it has to do with health and emotional issues, insecurity. So I focus on them and helping them guide through a life of freedom, letting go of the bondage, whether it's physical weight, emotional baggage, insecurities, questioning themselves. I guide them to slowly, or how fast they want to do it, it's up to them, really. I autonomously support them and empower them to take control of their life and be responsible for their life and make the decisions that anything's possible for them. They can create whatever they want. They just need to decide. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's like really your message is for these women, especially mothers, who are feeling like they don't know if they matter. They don't know if they make a difference, or even worse, they feel like they don't. They feel like they don't know what their purpose is, or, why they're really here. And you get to remind them about how powerful and capable they are, and that their life has value and they have a purpose, they have a calling, and you get to empower them to really rise up into that.
Yeah, it's true. I was very clear on that moment. So you were describing the moment. That was me 3.5 years ago, actually 4 years ago. I sat at a round table. I homeschool my kids. Fulfilling, believe me. Homeschooling kids is definitely a calling. I was homeschooling my kids, thought this was what I was, called to, and already felt the stirring in my heart that there was more. I was made for more. I love homeschooling. Gave me so much value, but I knew there was something more. I remember sitting at a round table with my kids doing their work, looking outside, and I thought, is this it? Is this my purpose? But I know there's more. And then 6 months later, I met my friend, and health coaching dropped into my lap, and I found my answer. And that's what I believe, a whole passionate belief that if you're that same person that wonder what else is there for you, there are so many possibilities, but we're just made for more.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it, Jeannie. So, we're beginning to wrap up now. We want to know, what are the final pieces of wisdom that you want our audience to receive from this interview?
Final pieces of wisdom. I think one, don't give up on your dreams. As a kid, we're so open and uninhibited to what's possible, right? You look at children and you see how they run so carefree because they don't care. They don't care. They know what they want and they go and do it. And so that's a reminder. Bring back that childlike faith and childlike dreams that you've had. Through time, expectations, experiences, disappointments, and pain have kind of covered that up. And to allow and recognize all those challenges, but instead of it like covering that dream or saying that you're not good enough for that dream, brush it away. Recognize it, learn from it, brush it away, dust off, that dream that's been sitting there, and look at it. Allow yourself to dream again. Because when you have a dream in front of you, you're very clear on what you want for yourself and what you can create for yourself. And there's so much possible because that brings you hope.
Yeah.
When you can hope in something, there's a reason to move from day to day to day. We're not just meandering around doing nothing. We have a purpose. Each individual has a purpose. And so when we can uncover that dream again and put it out in the limelight on our vision board, and we are clear that there's something that we're working for and that there's still hope.
So powerful. I love it. I love it, Jeannie. So we are inspired. We are taking action on our dreams. Anyone who's listening or watching this wants to know how they can continue the momentum, continue growing with you. What are their next steps, Jeannie?
Next steps, if you feel like, yes, this is me, I was that mom at the round table like you, come and reach out. I'm all about relationships. I love building relationships with people. Friend me on Facebook. It's Jeannie Baldomero. You can find me there. I also have my email. It's B, capital B like in Baldomero, fitstrong@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Instagram, Jeannie Baldomero.
Love it. Love it, Jeannie. You are a superstar. Thank you so much for what you do in the world, your message, your mission, helping these moms, helping these women to really reclaim their value, reclaim their presence, their purpose in this life. Really appreciate what you're doing and so acknowledge you for stepping up to the plate.